making a comeback, having a glow up, all of that rests on how clear is the vision for why you want to change your life. At the end of the day, it all comes down to what are your values? What is your philosophy? Why do you actually want the life that you want? Not what life, like why.
So who's trying to change their life?
I think we're always trying to evolve. I'm always trying to evolve. I think that evolution is like a Pokemon, you know?
Yeah.
You want to hit that Charizard peak quickly. You have all these new abilities.
So
Then
you
can fly.
want to get to the destination as fast as possible and
You want to max out your character so you can stomp noobs all for the rest of your life.
for as long as possible.
Yeah, like imagine if you start off with a Charizard instead of a Charmander. Like you just breeze through and catch all the Pokemon.
Trying to evolve as fast as possible then.
There's only one enemy to life. And it's not like a particular person. It's not a particular like avatar. It is just an idea. And it's the idea of stagnation. Being stuck. Staying still is the enemy. So just evolve.
Not growing. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you don't grow, then man, I don't know. Like, why would you want your life to? Why would you want to just hit level 15 and never become a Charizard?
Yeah.
What level did you come? You got what, 30, 32?
I
forget. It's been a long time.
The hell?
No, level 16 is the
30,
first.
no, level 36
36.
actually. I do remember.
16 and 16, 36, right?
I could be wrong. Yeah, I just discovered some influencer named Brian Johnson recently.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
If you're talking about stagnation and growing, he is like going backwards. He is trying to decrease his age. His brand is to live as long as possible, but he also says, I'm reversing my aging.
Isn't that
So
like
he's going
Peter Attia's thing
backwards.
also? Like longevity and reverse aging?
Yeah, but I don't think he's like
Biohacking?
as intense as this guy is.
What is he-
It's
what
just
is he-
so interesting.
What does he talk about?
He's just like, if you wanted to envision self-improvement, he is like self-improvement on another level.
What does that mean?
Like every single day he has like this protocol, right?
Okay.
And this protocol is supposed to like keep him young and healthy. Like he does like strength training, endurance training. He takes like 50 or 60 supplements a day or something like that. He does everything very calculated, very algorithmically, and he gets like tons of blood tests so that he can track everything very routinely. And he like had this video where he was like trying to use the blood of his son to like make himself younger. I didn't watch it, but
What the heck?
I just thought it was just super interesting. And he's called like
Seems kind of.
the human vampire. But the
seems-
thing is, the thing that was really interesting is
There
that
sounds like some ethical issues with doing that.
yeah. But the thing that was really interesting is that
From your son?
he claims that he has the best sleep score in history.
Okay.
100% sleep score every single night for like however long, for years,
Okay.
that he has tracked very meticulously.
Sure. But like 100% score versus like a 95 versus like a, I don't know, 90 versus whatever.
I think that trying to tie it back to the conversation here is that if you can find a pursuit in life where you want to take it to that maximum level, where you want to play that infinite game and just be the best version of yourself in that lane,
Yeah.
then that is winning.
Oh, 100%.
I would say.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
I just want to know what the reason was behind it.
I don't know what his reason
Oh,
is.
okay. That's what I was getting at with that,
But
with
it's
that story. I'm like,
strong
what's the
enough
reason?
for him to go all the way. I don't think anyone is near. I don't actually
Yeah.
know, but I don't think anyone's anywhere near him right now.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's, to me, like, that's why people would want to follow, support, or like get behind a philosophy is there's, I just want to know the reason why. Like, what's the theory?
I would imagine that it is pushing the human potential, seeing what we're capable of.
Yeah. I
Kinda
think,
Wim Hof vibes or something.
yeah, I love Wim Hof vibes.
Yeah.
That's cool. Because he's trying to like retrain the parasympathetic nervous system through mindset, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's trying to retrain his aging.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, it sounds kind of similar to Peter Attia's, I think I say it, Peter Attia.
Antia, yeah.
His vibe and his, because I read Outlive, his newer book. And there's a chapter in that book where basically he says reverse aging is a losing battle. This is like paraphrasing. I'm just like paraphrasing. I don't remember the exact quotes, but pretty much as a doctor and as a scientist who he is, what he says is that you will never beat cancer because we haven't figured out how to do that yet. So no matter how long you live, eventually, like, because cancer like is pretty much like random. It's spontaneous. The longer you live, the higher the chances are because you just live more days. And so no matter how healthy you are, like you can be 20 years old in the best shape of your life and get cancer tomorrow. So the reverse aging is just like, you can try to, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, you're never going to beat that. So Peter's whole like philosophy is like, not that you're trying to like beat age, more is that you're just trying to optimize your age as best as you can. Yeah. Either way, that kind of ties into the idea of reinventing yourself, though.
How?
In the sense that the people who evolve and become such fanatics or such like evolved humans are the ones who have such a strong belief in the reason why they want to change. And so I think the discussion of reinventing your life, making a comeback, having a glow up, all of that stems and all of that rests on how clear is the vision for why you want to change your life. Right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to, what are your values? What is your philosophy? Why do you actually want the life that you want? Not what life, like why.
Yeah.
Right.
The why should ideally come from inside.
Yes.
Because when you're...
I agree.
I just think about New Year's resolutions and everyone's like, oh, I need to go back to the gym, or I need to get back in shape. I need to do this and that because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah.
And when you get in that kind of mindset, you're going to quit eventually. You're not going to stick with it.
Is that why you think most people fail?
I think so. Yeah. I don't have statistics, but I'm willing to bet that's why.
What
Everyone's just like riding the trend of January is like, everyone's doing it, so I got to do it too.
Do you do any?
Feel bad.
Do you even do any New Year's resolutions? Have you done any?
I have, yeah. It usually involves like exercise or some sort of fitness. And I think that I was able to stay on it.
Yeah.
I'm still on it right now. So it started because I just got obsessed with learning about habits. The like YouTube publishing stuff, posting, making content, that kind of came about as a New Year's resolution. Not really, but like it was a goal. It's like, okay, it's a new year.
Yeah.
I want to try something new. And that's how it came about too. So
historically, I've always had mixed feelings about New Year's resolutions, because like, why do you have to wait till the new year to start something? That was always my philosophy, of like, you can just start now. Like, why would you wait till then?
Yeah.
But I think that if you reframe it differently, where it's like, you don't use the new year as when you start, rather as a goalpost or a checkpoint from a previous starting point that you might have had. I think that's probably better, because in order to make progress, you need to track incrementally. And you can just use a new year as like a milestone, not necessarily as like a starting point, though, because I think you should just start as soon as possible, always.
Yeah.
For anything you're going to do. But a new year is like a good, like, it's easy to divide up the year into quarters if you start with a new year. That's all.
Yeah. So I think New Year's is it just forces you to naturally start reflecting on things.
Right. But all the people who are like, I'm going to wait till the new year to start, it's like, I think that's probably a losing battle. Just because if you're going to wait till the new year to start, then you're going to be waiting for every new year to start.
Yeah.
So
I don't think my mindset was ever really like that. It was more so, oh, there's a new year now. Maybe I can start something right now. Like I didn't even think about starting something.
Yeah.
But it's not like I was waiting for the new year.
And I guess there's benefit, because the whole, at least in the US, like the whole culture revolves around, okay, this is the time for reinvention. So you can kind of just bandwagon with everybody.
All the deals happen at that time. So
there is some sense of belonging that'll get you motivated, at least initially. Well, on that topic then, how should people think about starting something new this year or reinventing this year?
The imagery I always like to use is you're holding on to one branch and then you're like swinging over to another branch.
Like Spider-Man?
Like a new tree. Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say like a monkey, but
okay.
But
I just went to
exactly.
I just went to Disneyland recently.
Oh, nice. That is such a tiring game.
It's on my mind.
Yeah, my wife always beats me on that game. But yeah, so like you're swinging onto a new branch, and there's basically the first branch you want to make sure that it's stable, so that while you're swinging, it doesn't snap.
You want to make the branch stable,
or
do you have control over that? I didn't even do that.
Yeah, you have control of the branch. These are under your control.
Okay,
it's a metaphor, but basically, you want to make sure that your life is in order, so that when you make a drastic change, that you're still,
it doesn't come crumbling down.
Yeah, that you're still stable and secure, and
Okay, so like stabilizing.
You have backup and stuff like that.
So you need to stabilize your branch
So yeah, if you just try to make too many big drastic changes all at once, then it's gonna rough up the tree.
Yeah. Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah. So for the stabilizing the branch, I guess we'll take it one step at a time. Stabilizing the branch would be like getting your house in order, getting your daily, I don't know if you want to call it discipline, but like get your daily habits in order.
What does getting your house in order mean?
Just like all the housekeeping stuff, like things that keep your life running smoothly. And if you can automate things towards habits as much as possible, habits, routines, and systems, if everything can be automated, then you can have that new mental space to start thinking about something new.
Okay. Why don't we do some examples? What would that look like for me right now? I'm a 25-year-old dude just working a regular job at like a tech company, and I want to make a change in my life. What would some housekeeping stuff look like?
You would need more time. You need to free up more time in your day so that you can start trying new things, right? So I think that's like what the stability is all about, is freeing up more time.
Okay.
So how do you go about freeing up more time in your day? One of the things you can do is start figuring out what you can eliminate. What do you not need to do anymore? What are the things that you can batch together and then form habits and routines out of? For example, when I think about habits, I think about keystone habits. When you're trying to like unlock free time in your day, think about like what are the moments in your day that you can change that will snowball into like the rest of the day being more productive.
Yeah.
So a big one for me that took so long for me to overcome was when I wake up in the morning, I check my phone. And if I check my phone in the morning while I'm lying in bed, it's like so comfy and relaxing, and I would just scroll.
I think that's something that like most people struggle with.
I
There was some
would like to
study.
think so. Yeah,
There
I
was some
feel like a lot
study
of
that
people do
came
that.
out about that. It was like 85% of people check their phone within 15 minutes of waking up, or something like that. Like there's like data from
I believe
from
that.
Apple, I think, from like the health, because they do that. They check their screen time and stuff. Or I think it was from Apple, but like it's a pretty substantial amount of people who first thing in the morning,
Yeah,
within 10 minutes of 15 minutes waking up, they check their phone.
yeah. I'm still not perfect at it, but the days where I check my phone within 15 minutes, like you said, there's a high chance that I will just stay in bed and just like be on Slack answering messages on the team.
Yeah.
Or like I'll just be on Discord and I'll just I usually don't. Sometimes I'll scroll on social media, but I'll like
Yeah, I think most people
do
would.
little
Most people
tasks.
scroll social media.
Yeah, I will.
We don't really
I'll-
use social media.
I'll scroll
but
on
yeah.
social media sometimes. It's mostly YouTube though, because I'll just look at. I mostly scroll to look at titles and thumbnails.
Yeah.
But like I will spend a lot of time on email, Slack, and Discord, just like doing all these little tasks that take very little thinking, and all that thinking earlier on in the day, or all that mental energy early in the day, could be put towards something more deep,
Yeah.
like writing or something
Sure.
highly focused.
Sure.
So if I check my phone, I'll just be in bed. If I don't check my phone, then I'll get out of bed and then I'll just get on with my morning routine
Right.
and I'll just start writing.
So you think that is included in getting your house together, is not checking your phone, or you're talking about the keystone habit idea?
The keystone habit idea.
Gotcha.
I think like
That's a good one though. Obviously, to if you're looking for keystone habits to attempt to build, that is a good one to start.
Yeah.
But
So I mean, everyone's day obviously looks different. So if you were that 25-year-old working at I forgot what you said,
I don't know, tech
company, then what other keystone habits, could this person have?
Yeah.
Like if you're at work, I know that someone told me this recently, but they were like, every time I get up to go and use the printer, like I will spend forever in the printing room if someone comes in or something like that. It's like, I'm sure there's some sort of keystone habit you can do, or reschedule the time when you go to the printing room or something
Yeah.
that you can save a lot of time at work, get your work done so you don't have to bring it home with you.
Okay.
It's like just snowball effects.
Yeah.
When you get home from work, what are you doing? Are you
Yeah. I feel like people go to the couch first.
that's one of the
Go
things
to
I
the
used to
fridge,
do
go to
all the
fri-
time.
Go to the pantry first.
Exactly. After I get
I
off
still do
class,
that.
like I would just go to the fridge, get like a drink, and then sit on the couch and just veg.
Oh,
And I would just sit
yeah.
there thinking about,
I'll just
I'll go to the gym in like 10 minutes,
I just
but that doesn't happen.
yeah, this was a bad habit of mine. But if we're talking about keystone habits too, is food is a pretty big one.
Mhm.
Like food cues in your house
Oh
and the
yeah.
availability of them. Like I remember back in the beginning of med school, like I had worse eating habits.
Mhm.
But that's because I lived with some people who would just buy a lot of junk food. And so when I come home, there would just be like cookies and like chips like in the pantry and counter. So I just eat those and I just like, I eat a lot of chips.
Yeah.
I can go ham on chips. But then when I started living on my own, I just stopped buying them. And then I would instead just put like blueberries and spinach.
Mhm.
I had this
Oh,
whole
yeah,
craze where I
chips.
ate like a whole bunch of spinach and blueberries just like in
Yeah.
smoothies. But like every time I get home, I'm like, I'm hungry because like that's my cue right there. You're
Mhm.
hungry. You open the fridge and the only thing there is veggies and fruit. So you have to eat those. So that was
Yeah.
a good keystone habit. But after I had that smoothie, I would feel good about myself.
Mhm.
And I'd be like, oh, maybe I should go to the gym now. And I would
Mhm.
just like kind of get on a roll with like healthier habits or healthier behaviors,
Yeah.
as opposed to like eating chips, which would usually lead to like watching anime
Oh yeah.
or like then kicking it with my friends or I don't know, stuff like that. So yeah, I think you're right. I mean, like setting up your environment in a way so that the keystone habits just naturally occur as
Mhm.
opposed to fighting temptation,
Yeah.
where you don't want to fight temptation if you can,
Yeah.
just remove it.
Yeah. Environment is the best way to change your habits
Yeah.
for sure.
The easiest way.
The easiest and best way.
Yeah.
I will say though that there was a point in my life where it doesn't happen anymore. But there was a point in my life, it was like when I came home from school and I felt like hungry,
Mm-hmm.
for some reason I was like, oh, my stomach is really empty right now. So I must have been fasting for a long time. I better get to the gym and run right now.
That is
I was like,
interesting.
yeah, because I was obsessed with like fasting
Yeah.
for a point of time.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, dang, I gotta take advantage of this window
Uh-huh.
and continue this fast and run.
That's
But
interesting.
I don't do that anymore.
That's a good way for someone who's trying to lose weight to reframe the way they view hunger, but I feel like it's tough. 'Cause if
Yeah.
I get hungry, I want to eat.
Yeah, that is not environmental. That is just
That's a mindset.
mindset.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So household and order, what I gained from you, one of the first things you should do in reinventing your life is to focus on setting up how many just one keystone habit or like
I mean, as many as you can get.
okay. Well, I think to keep it manageable and simple, probably wouldn't be as many as you can do. I think it's probably good to focus on like because if you try to focus on too many things, you don't do any of them. I feel
Sure,
like that's
okay.
usually how it goes.
I would say then try to find one keystone habit for each phase of the day then.
Each phase of the day. Okay.
Yeah, one for the morning,
Uh-huh.
which is probably going to be like the phone thing.
A phone's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, unless like you have work,
Yeah.
like you're not going to be scrolling on your phone,
Uh-huh.
right?
So
that might be something
people
else, I
scroll
don't
their
know.
phones all day long at work, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, so one for the morning.
Okay.
And I mean, the morning could be like just what you eat. I remember reading in Atomic Habits that if he ate like a donut or something in the morning, then that's like a lose. And then just the rest of the morning, he's just in a losing mindset.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like what I was talking about the smoothie thing, like it would put me in a good mood.
Yeah.
And I would roll into good habits
Right.
from that.
And then if you're like in a losing mindset, then
You just like might as well just keep losing.
yeah. So yeah, one for the morning, one for the afternoon,
Okay.
and one for the nighttime.
Nice. Okay. So that's step one.
Yeah. Just get your house in order
Get your house in order
so
with
that you
some
like
kind of keystone
unlock
habits.
time.
Okay. And so house in order means you said habits is one. So that's something you add. You want to build a habit. But then you also mentioned the idea of
Like you're technically
automating,
not adding, you're technically
batching.
chunking things together and reducing effort, I guess.
Okay.
So you're subtracting from your life, but
Yeah.
you're just
Okay.
streamlining it, I guess.
Yeah. You also said something about removing and automating, which I agree with. What are some examples of things that you can automate?
That, I mean, right there, the keystone habits is automating and removing.
I think in order to also figure out what you need to automate, eliminate, and stuff, is you have to know what you even do. So probably one of the first things that I would recommend too, do a full like, what the heck does Maddie do in a day audit? like literally carry like with a moleskin or like some notepad.
Yeah.
And just for everything that you do for a few days, just write exactly timestamp. I did this at this hour. I did this at this hour.
Yeah, you could do that.
And just figure out like what are all the menial tasks and all the stuff that you do of the day. And then you can reflect when you want to build these keystone habits, what things can be batched together. How should you design? What can you remove? Like what is useless that you do? Like if I go to the grocery store like once a day for 3 days, like why do I do that? Just do them all at once, you know?
Yeah.
So I think maybe doing like a task audit or something could be helpful.
I would say that most people in general spend most of their day on their phone. So if you're like
just
too
check your screen
lazy,
time?
exactly. If you're too lazy to write things down, just check your screen time.
I feel like
And
people are
that
afraid to
you
check
will
their screen
see.
time just because of how bad it would make them feel.
If you're afraid to check your screen
look at mine
time,
right
then
now.
you're probably too afraid to change your life. So we're talking to the wrong person there.
What's a good screen time?
A good screen time? I don't know.
Well, I would say that my
Ideally, like,
phone screen time is
2
not
hours a day or
accurate.
less. I don't know.
It's not accurate because I spend most of my day on the screen. It's just on my computer usually,
Yeah.
working. So
Well, you check your screen time and the breakdown of the apps that you're using.
I guess that's more important because my screen time says 3 hours a day on my phone.
Yeah, you have to check the apps that you're using.
But my most used apps are Parrot, which is filming YouTube videos today, Google Maps, Kindle, and Notion. So I guess I'm doing okay.
Nice. But yeah,
The
you can
Parrot
check
app.
that easy. I mean, yeah, you were recording all
Yeah,
morning,
I was
so-
filming hours of stuff for Study Quest. I was pretty excited over the past week or so. Kindle app is now like one of my top 3 apps on my phone. So
Nice,
I've been trying to get that habit up. I think I'm at 35 days straight of reading so far. So
nice.
that's a habit that I'm building. But anyways, yeah, I agree with that. That screen time is another automated way that you don't have to write down that stuff. It just tells you averages of what you do. What is after household?
So once you unlock that new free time, then you can start thinking about acquiring new skills so that it makes your life easier to change.
Okay,
suppose.
what does that look like?
It's like, what industry are you in? What do you like to do? What do you want to do?
Well, I guess tie it back to the big picture. Like, what would changing your life or reinventing your life look like?
Why are you doing it? I guess.
Yeah, I guess that comes back to that question we talked about. It's like, what is the value or what is the vision behind it all?
So I
I
guess
don't
we
know.
just have to use hypotheticals because everyone's
Yeah,
reinvention is going to look different.
that's true. I don't know. I feel like what do most people?
So what is this, the 25-year-old, whatever you said?
Maybe they just feel stuck. Maybe they feel like they're not progressing. They can't really identify what it is that's missing, but there's like a lack of excitement. There's a lack of
Like of excitement
Growth.
in their job or
just in
their life?
their life overall. They
Okay.
might feel like their love life is stagnating and or not making progress. Their career is also not making that much progress. They think that they can see the next 5 years of their life pretty much going the same. And nothing changes. It can even go on longer than that. And they're just ready to make a change and they want something better, but they don't really know how to identify what that is. They're not fulfilled in what they're doing.
Yeah, there's no fulfillment. First thing you want to do is start exploring, start side hustling, start exploring new hobbies, and start trying to find a spark
Yeah.
in
And
something.
I'd also want to like just briefly preface that like that person I described, the avatar I described, is not a bad thing. I think it's actually a really good thing. And the sooner you can come to that point of feeling that you're that way, the sooner you'll make a change. So actually it's a good thing. The sooner you can get that feeling. Because there reaches a point at everyone where you start to question what you just said, which is the impact thing. It's like a lot of people chase goals or chase something until they think that that's going to lead them to this sustained period of enjoyment and fulfillment, and it never does. For example, like me, when I thought that like getting into medical school was going to be like, oh, I'm good. Like I'm going to be happy forever. I'm going to like love what I do. Like my life is going to be set. And then I got there and then like a year into it, I'm like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I don't feel as motivated or empowered to do what I want to do. I need something else. And so thinking about it that way, I think it'll come for everybody. This is why we talk about evolution is necessary, and it's going to continue happening. So like even if like you thought like you want like a rich social life, you go out to all these parties or like you're going out all the time if you're in college and stuff. This is great. You're going to get bored of that eventually. And eventually you're going to reach a point where now I want something different. And so, sorry, I just wanted a tangent there.
No, well, I think that in order to know what you want, you have to experience what you don't want. So you got to experience a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, if you find yourself in the situation where you're feeling stuck or unfulfilled or just all these other apathetic emotions, then you have to actually be in that situation to experience that this is not what I want.
Yeah.
And then that is the spark for change. So that's fine that you're there. So that you realize it and you
Right. Yeah.
wake up to it.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
The bad thing is if you realize it and you don't do anything about it. That would be a bad thing. But
yeah. So you're saying learn a skill is the thing. Why is that the next step?
for the hypothetical situation, it would be exploring and finding a skill, activity, pursuit, something that gives you that spark back. Something that you actually care about.
Pushes you out of stagnation.
Yeah.
Pushes you out of your comfort zone
Yeah.
in a way.
It doesn't necessarily mean you have to just change your life, quit your job, and like overhaul everything. I remember reading something about this is called the Odyssey plan is like there's 3 different lives that you can live. And the first life is like, what is your optimized life? So like if you could take this 25-year-old tech guy and optimize his life so that he would only be doing the things that he enjoyed and then just remove everything else that he hated. Maybe he really enjoys coding or something. He really enjoys getting the flow and then creating new things, new software, etc. But the things he doesn't like are like paperwork or like dealing with unpleasant coworkers or having to sit in meetings or I'm just like coming up with all these things that he could potentially not like.
Sure.
So what would life look like if you could just remove all of those things and only do the coding all day long? That's all you do.
Yeah.
Is that possible in your life? First of all, I don't know. Could it be?
I'm not that guy. I don't know, but potentially
Someone who would be coding a lot and not dealing with other people is like probably deeper in the science. Maybe if you have a more like master's or PhD role and you're just like doing a lot of research, you're like in the science, then that's, I guess you would have to go back to school or get another degree or something. But that is one option where you can not change your life, but like you move into it like an adjacent path.
It's pretty impossible to have the perfect optimized life.
Oh yeah, that's just like a thought experiment.
Oh, okay.
But like you don't have to change your life, quit your job.
Yeah.
You just move your duties to an adjacent path where you get to maximize on things that you like.
Okay.
And not do the other things.
Yeah.
Like that's usually the first thing that that's something that you can try off. Try immediately. Yeah. So think about that first, I guess. The second thing would be like if there is no way to escape that, then yeah, I would start thinking about skills directed towards something new. Like I mentioned before, like something like side hustles or hobbies, just something to wake you up again. That gives you something to figure out. Sometimes those, like you said in a previous podcast, like the novelty of something could be enough to get you going and to pursue skill.
I think something important to say there is it doesn't necessarily have to be a skill.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a skill.
But I'm
just using that word generally.
Right. Because a skill, people think that you have to like learn something. But I think like a hobby doesn't necessarily have to include skills. I'm trying to think of what a hobby would be like when collecting something.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
that's a hobby.
collecting
cards.
Yeah, Sunny Angels.
Oh yeah.
Like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like not that's a bad example, but like I don't know, like what does our cousin collect? All those bobblehead things. Like if you want to like or like
the pop thingies.
Or like I guess it's kind of a skill, but like he really got into like making keyboards. I guess that's a skill.
Yeah,
but like
it's a
just
hobby.
Like starting some kind of thing that you wanted to.
It's a pursuit.
What's the purpose of it?
What's the purpose of the pursuit?
Yeah,
is to find something that wakes you up again. Find something that you're interested in.
So how do you make that happen, and or how does that lead to reinvention?
if you're trying to reinvent yourself and you actually have a direction of where you want to go, like if you are in a job and you want to change to a different job, then it's pretty obvious that you want to get skills that make that transition easier.
Yeah.
But in your guy's case, he has no idea what he wants to do, and he's just not feeling alive at all.
Yeah, like I know something
That's a little more difficult.
This might be the most like probably one of the most basic answers that I hear most people say is like they want to travel more.
Okay.
That's not really a skill, but like
that's a pursuit.
That might make them feel more alive.
Yeah.
So what does that look like to use that as your reinvention platform?
To travel more?
Or like I want to not spend so much time on my couch watching TV. I want to be out doing things and traveling more, or having more experiences. It's probably something pretty popular, like common for people in their 20s.
I guess it still comes back to exposure. Like it doesn't have to be a skill or pursuit, but just start consuming more information about it. Start curating your feed so that you can learn more about that pursuit.
Is there a frequency that you think would be useful for someone to keep this up as opposed to dropping off like most resolution people do?
I think all pursuit should come with some sort of project. So if you can carve out like an hour of your time every day, hopefully this hour was unlocked from your habits and you can set aside that hour dedicated towards this new pursuit. Put milestones on the pursuit in the form of a project so that you have something to work towards.
Yeah.
So that you're just not just like aimlessly doing something for the hell of it.
Yeah, that makes more sense. What do you think the time frame should be for a project?
I think that milestones are probably more important than time frame. Like I'm only going to do this for a month or I'm only going to do this for a year or something. Just set milestones.
Right. I guess time frame of milestones and like what should they be thinking
of? Probably
because I feel like a lot of people they always have a good plan at the beginning of the year, but they don't stick with it because they don't have, okay, by this point, I'm going to reflect or I want to be at this point.
I think that thinking in months or quarters is helpful to start. And then every time you hit like the end of a month or a quarter, then it gives you a chance to reflect on how it went. Then you can course correct yourself. And then when you get to the year mark, then that's like a huge self-reflection throughout the entire year.
Okay.
You can see your progress.
So breaking things down. So it sounds like we're saying things are broken up by days, months, quarters, years.
Yeah.
Because you said every day, if you can devote an hour a day, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I think actually like the majority of people could probably carve out an hour from their screen time.
Yeah.
To do something.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of designing that habit so that you do. And in that hour, just committing it to working on this project.
Yeah, some sort of project.
Whether it's a skill, whether it's traveling more, whether it's spending more time with friends.
Yeah.
Going on a date. I don't know. I guess you wouldn't be doing that for an hour every day going on a date, but like at least
I mean, you would be learning about how to go on better dates.
Right. Educating yourself about how to be a better listener or speaker.
Yeah, exactly.
Skill acquisition.
Yeah.
Planning is a huge skill itself, like planning a trip.
Yeah.
Planning a vacation. How you would want to make that happen, coordinating with people if you want to go solo with other people.
If you're trying to build friendships, like
how would you
come up with
so ideas. If it's a travel thing, the daily work is going to be not only the planning, but like how are you going to make sure your life doesn't crumble while you're away, setting up those systems, getting the time off, getting further ahead in work, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. Like there are things to do on a daily basis. And then you said at a month, kind of recap it or reflect back on it. What does that look like?
The main thing that you want to ask yourself is how you felt while you're doing these things. Because that's what it comes back to, your enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
So reflect on that. And if it's not something that you can't wait to wake up and do, then it's probably not it.
Well, I think if it is something that you have like that excited you at first, then even if it's something that you don't want to continue doing, I think the real win is the fact that you stuck with it.
Yeah.
I think the fact that maybe in a month you thought you wanted to travel a lot and you went on like a trip or two and you realized maybe traveling is not really like something that excites you as much as you wanted.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
But you experienced it and now you know what you don't like.
And what you can really reward yourself for is the fact that you committed to doing it. You planned these 2 trips. You went on them.
Yeah.
You did something despite the stagnation and the difficult feeling it was. And then maybe at that month, you'll just repeat the process with something else.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to wait. You shouldn't wait till the new year again. Just just course correct.
Yeah.
Try something different.
I think it's very different for different activities.
Yeah.
So like when you're trying to get into something new, it's definitely helpful to join a community, because one of the things that you want to learn is like, what are the milestones? Like, how far should I go before I quit? Like for YouTube, the number that gets thrown around a lot is like, make your first 100 videos and then you can come back and reassess and see how you did. But you wouldn't know that number unless you had a community and you talk to other people who've been doing this for a while.
But 100 videos, that's if you're doing one a week, that's at least a 2-year commitment. A long project.
That's a milestone.
A long project.
Yeah.
I think the milestones would be way shorter than that.
Yeah.
Publish 1 video, then 5 videos, then 10. 100 is a huge milestone to go for. Initially.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the question of like, when do you call yourself a quitter, or when do you call yourself like, did I give this enough of a shot?
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about whether or not you want to turn your identity into it, or you just want to become a hobbyist at it.
Yeah. You do something enough, you'll get to a crossroads where you got to make that decision.
Yeah.
Do I want to keep it as a hobby, or do I want to go pro?
Yeah. But I also don't think because there's nothing wrong with like a YouTuber who doesn't shoot for the 100 milestone, but if they publish a video once a month, that's still consistent. I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
By that math, it would take them like 7 years to get to 100.
Yeah, but I mean, like when you're an aspiring YouTuber and you're talking complaining about how
kind of specifically like an educational creator to get to 100.
Oh,
What if you make like super high production like movies and then like documentary type videos? You can't do that 100 of those. Probably need like 1 a month, maybe less.
Yeah, I mean, there's no like strict rule.
Yeah,
but
I like what you said though. Is finding a community to do it with, because they can give you insight onto how other people are also reinventing their lives.
Yeah, and it gives you that accountability too. That's like a hard question, because this is a person who has no idea what they want to do. They have like no vision at all.
Yeah.
And I would say that get started with a pursuit of a passion or of a project. And the next step that you would do after that is just try to reconnect with your values and see what is important in your life.
Yeah.
If you have no idea what you want and you don't feel invigorated by anything at all, then just get going on something and then find a way to start reconnecting with your values.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty important and insightful part that a lot of people misunderstand is act before it feels good. You don't have to wait till you're inspired to start the pursuit.
Yeah.
Because usually the pursuit will make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And so the people who wait around for inspiration or motivation to strike is a losing battle.
Yeah. I mean, that's one kind of person. I think I fall into the other bucket where I'm the overthinker. And I'm like, I'm thinking about all the outcomes and consequences of, if I do this, will I enjoy it or not? It's like, just do it and then assess whether or not you enjoy it afterwards.
You're not going to know how you feel about it as in good or bad until you do it.
Yeah.
That's how anxiety just works. You can't be anxious about something if it already happened.
Yeah.
You're only anxious about something happening in the future.
But yeah, just don't even think about it. Just do it and then reflect on it afterwards.
Take a bias to action. Your mood will catch up with you, whether it's a positive one or a negative one.
Yeah.
And even like I said, if it's a negative one, it's still a positive because you just identified something that you don't want to do. So either way, it's a win-win to take action.
So you got going on your project and you're trying to reconnect with your values. And this could be like a cycle. Maybe you reconnect with your values through pursuing this project.
Well, what are some examples of values?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's values are different.
Yeah.
But for me, when I quit my job as a doctor, they were based on a few values that were lacking in my life: autonomy, creativity, and just making an impact in general. So like those three, I didn't feel like was part of my life at all.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make a switch towards a path where I had more of those things. But yeah, like your values could be completely different from mine.
Yeah.
Values just come from your experiences, like while you're growing up or like while you're going through your work.
Yeah.
Your values could come from, I think a very common place is religion. You could like get values from just watching movies or reading books or talking to your friends. Like they're just all from your experiences. Whatever the source of your values were is something that you want to pinpoint. Let's just theoretically say you watched Lord of the Rings and you got like value of friendship from that, the fellowship. That is your value. Then the source of that movie, Lord of the Rings, or that book, is the reminder of your values. So like every now and then you want to remind yourself that, hey, that my value of fellowship.
So you watch that movie.
So you watch that movie and you
twice a year.
That's what it's called, reconnecting yourself with your values.
Let's have a
we watch it every
quarterly loader
marathon. Yeah. It was the two of us and our cousin Chris and our sister.
I mean, that's not why we did it. We just liked the movies. But...
Yeah, I mean that movie is just was fellowship and holidays.
Sure. Yeah, I agree that it's a
Family
good
time.
practice to revisit them. I think the hard thing for some people to do is to identify them.
Oh yeah.
And to that, I would say yes. All the things you said are accurate. Like look to your peers, look to your parents, look to your upbringing, look to your religion if you follow one. But if you don't have any of those things for some reason, if you don't have any friends, if you don't have parents or anything like that, then it's okay.
You don't have parents? How's it possible?
Orphan.
Oh, you mean like orphan?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I'm saying like hypothetically, if you didn't get values from those places,
oh okay,
then it is really difficult to come up with them on your own. And so I think it would even be a good idea to adopt values from somebody else or like a business or a brand
from religion.
Just because you didn't have it in the past doesn't mean you can't pick one up, because your values can change. And so just pick one that resonates with you now. Hopefully they have good intentions for humanity, and just roll with it. And you can always evolve your values over time. But it is useful to have some kind of North Star.
Yeah.
And if you can't come up with it on your own, just follow someone else. You can follow ours. We have a philosophy, of course, Kejikoi. But it's just useful to be behind something.
Yeah, and I think that's how you stay motivated and keep going, is that you have your vision in front of you.
Yeah.
You got your milestones, you got your project that you're trying to pursue on the outside. And then on the inside, you got your values that are continuing to push you forward. So just those two working together.
Cool. So yeah, it sounds like, just to recap this whole reinvention process, which we didn't really put a time frame on like how long you should do it to feel like you have been evolved and reinvented.
Yeah.
But really it's kind of like a 3-pronged approach. There's the daily stuff that you want to have in order, like your household, your habits, and carving out a little bit of space to work on a project, which is kind of like this middle length tiered thing that you're actively pursuing. And all of that is based on the values that you are reflecting on through this process. Is that kind of accurate?
Yeah. I mean, the month, quarter, year, however long you want to do it.
Yeah.
I would say those are vision and values.
I don't know like if it's appropriate or correct to say that you should do this like multiple times a year, or how often you should try to reinvent your life. But if you haven't ever done it, then give it a shot at least.
And good luck.